Good day, traders. Hoping that everybody's doing well today. Sound check. Let's see how the sound is. Then we can get started. How's the sound, guys? Okay. Looks like everybody's well. You guys can hear me. Okay, so today we'll be starting with what we had yesterday. We had this US 30 trade. I think it was requested by, I'm not sure if it was Boris or who. But yeah, the trade basically left us here, and he was asking where you take it from. And I did say you'd rather take a look at taking it from these levels here, the bottom. And price actually just went literally there, probably missed it by a few points, and completely like left from there. So there is a chance that it might go back, and it might hit this level again. And once it does, you can look at a long. And this is based on a daily key zone, so it's a pretty good trade that you could take. This NZD one, it really played with our analysis yesterday. I mean, it basically left our levels. It left our levels here at the bottom before we could get in, so it was gone before we could get in, and then went to hit our dailies. And those that were trading, that do trade with our strategy and our entry and exit points using stops only, they would have gotten in. I'm not sure where I posted it, but somewhere in these levels. So it's either they would have gotten kicked out, probably at these levels here, or if they gotten in somewhere here, then you would have gotten your 1R, break even, and then came back, and then if gotten in here again, got kicked out. So it was really just playing around with the emotions. And I think on the third or the fourth, because this was another kick out, so 1, 2, 3, on the fourth, that's when it actually just started tanking and going into our levels. But that's what happens. And then our GBP JPY went pretty good. It was yeah, it went pretty good actually, because I think when I posted it, there were 2 attempts on it, I think, because there was this first one here, and I think you guys only got the trade when it went back into the levels. Yeah, I think that's when most of the live went, and yeah, basically shot up from there. So some either got to the 1R, 2R, and some actually got this whole I'm not sure, let me just take a look. And then some really got this massive 6R, which is not bad. But yeah, and I know somebody asked for us to take a look at gold, and I know it went into the levels and it didn't come back as yet, but it is coming back, as you guys can see. So we could potentially get a nice drop into the zone, and yeah, it'll be awesome if we do. And of course we had this one here as well, so I'm not sure we got that as well. But yeah, not really a great day yesterday, but we'll see what we have today. Ogundeko, how are you, man? Awesome, guys, awesome. Morning, Richard. I see Prince HBK wants us to look at AUD USD. And then Tabi so wants us to look at GU. Let's see, Forex Trading Academy, Uganda. Nice to have you guys. Let's take a look at the AU, GU, and we'll take a look at 2 more pairs. Then we'll see how that works out. So every day it's a fresh day, fresh eyes. I might see something that I didn't see yesterday. So I'm always trying to do everything from scratch. Some really just do everything at once and then let it be. Okay, with the AUUSD, we see this nice retracement on the daily, which could be a nice bearish move on the lower time frames. And you'll see how. Okay, let's take a look at this one here, the hourly. I think if you were to trade AUUSD, there's a level here that was broken. Well, the liquidity was grabbed here, and price is getting back into that level. And you can see how we started looking at other levels here, showing you guys a bit of a bullish move, higher lows, higher highs. You see that happening here, but I think I'd want probably another push up, breaking this level first, push down before I go long. And if it does happen like that, this is on the daily, by the way. If it does work like that, it will take a couple of days to trigger. You would have an entry probably at this level, depending on how. Let me just mark this quickly. Depending on how these candles work. So if these continue going up, then we will get a nice entry when price retraces and pushes up again. But if that doesn't happen, wherever this goes, provided it doesn't break these levels, and then you get a nice bearish, or the last bearish candle before the push up, we'll use that as a nice tee-off area as well, and then you take it from there. And but like I said, that will take a bit of a day or 2 or 3 to trigger. And if you do go down to the lower time frames and you want to get into a trade, say for example today, and it's a Friday, by the way, guys, so you want to be very careful in the markets. You don't want to just dive in. And yeah, okay, let's look at the lower time frames. Let's go scalping mode and see what we can see. Now it's a bit messy for my liking, so I wouldn't force a trade here then. And then going back into the hourly, also a bit messy. You can see we had this massive bearish move, and then break up of structure, and then just kind of coming back and then up again. So if you were to trade on the hourly, you probably look at something along these lines, and there's a high chance it might not even go that low, but this is something that you'd want to probably try out, and maybe get an entry in this area here, provided you get a good candle to work from on the hourly. And if you do, then you'd wait for price to basically go above this level first. So you'd wait for something along these ranges. So you can see prices coming down. You'd still want it to push up, break this level, and then come back down, take your order, and then push up again. And provided it doesn't break some of these levels. So this is how I'd look at the AUD/USD on the hourly. And that's actually the only way I'd look at it. The daily, like I said, it'll take a bit of a minute, but that would be a potential trade to also look into. You can mark that, and we'll probably take a look at it again next week. Just mark that prints, just mark them and we'll take a look. And then Tabby, so GU, let's see what GU looks like. I got some good trades this week, but I didn't really have massive ones. I didn't get my usual, or GU, sorry about that, usual 10R and so forth. Okay, so GU on the daily, this is where we are. Nice bearish move. Yeah, basically have to see if this level on the daily, see if this level holds, and then we should be expecting nothing to break above that, and then we'll probably have another level there, and then break this one, and then this one will hold, and then so that's what we'll be basically looking at, something along these lines. If it does play out that way on the daily, and then you'd look at selling once price basically breaks these levels. You would look at a nice sell option, so you'd wait for price to break, go above, and then push down. And then looking at your key zones as well, you would see how price is very sensitive in this area, and well, this one is a bit far, but you can also mark it and keep it there. I'll always delete them because I always, like I said, prefer fresh eyes every day. And then on the 4 hour, we are looking at a bit of a bearish move. You can see it was bullish, and then we've got a high there. If it does hold and then comes back down to break this level, then we are looking at a nice bearish move. And if it does come back to break that level, we're looking at a push up and then trade it down. Let's go back to the hourly now to see what you can find on the lower time frames. Remember, you can find different setups. You can find different setups in different time frames. So you might find that you have bullish on the daily, bearish on the 4 hour, bearish on the hour, bullish on the 30, bullish on the 15, bearish on the 5 minute, going towards the 15 trade, which you can set up. It's a bit of a lot of work, but you would find that you have multiple trades on one pair in different time zones, and every single time your milestones keep getting reached on your setups, it triggers the next time frame trade, which you can potentially trade. So that's a beautiful way of looking at the market. Okay, and then the hourly on GU also did start giving me a nice neat look. Let's go to the 30 minute, see what we have. Yeah. Okay, no, this one you are definitely not gonna trade. If you are, you'll be forcing things, so rather wait for the 4 hour, which is one that seems more probable. The daily, we also can look and see how it plays out in time, and just watch what price does when it gets to these levels, and then you'll see a reaction as well. So what's happening now is we are trading in a level on the bigger time frame, and on top of that, we are trading within the price actions that are happening in all these moves. So that's actually what the bootcamp is about. Okay, so that we are going to ignore, and if you do decide to trade this and focus on these minor areas, there's a high chance that you could get hurt, because I mean, it's not strong enough, it hasn't held long enough. I mean, also it's June, it looks long, but the one at the top there, I mean, look at March, basically the whole year. So you want to be careful when you do that. So we'll just wait for price to break this level, come back up, trade it down. So your trade will probably look a lot like this, whichever area we find here where we can trade from, and targeting these dailies. And when price does get to these daily levels here, sorry about that, once it does get to these daily levels here, we'll see what it does. If you do see a bit of a bullish setup starting on the lower time frames, then we'll trade again from here going all the way up, which would look similar to, let me just show you quickly, it'll look similar to the Nzd USD. Yeah, it'll look similar to this one. Let me just make it bigger. It'll look similar to a setup like this, where you trade price going down, and then when it gets to your interesting level, you wait for bullish momentum to trade it up all the way to the next levels. Yesterday we just had this massive candles that basically took out a whole lot of liquidity, and if you do look to the left, you'll see why it does that, and then came back down all the way again, trading into these levels. So if you did look at it again, we're probably going to find a nice bearish setup on the lower time frames, probably on the 15 or the 5, and we could have taken that, but after that, stop loss, just leave the markets, you'll come back to the next time. So GU, for now, you'll have to wait. Patience is it's a game that we need to understand, and you are trading the 4 hour. So what you would do, let me just give you specific directions. wait for this level to be broken. Let me just put a price level here. Wait for this level to be broken. Some would wait for this, but I think that's also fine, because this also does mean now that this level here is also tapped into this one here. So you'd wait for that to happen, and provided it does not break this level. So if it does break this level, then you're looking at another setup, looking at a bullish setup all the way up from here. So let's just be careful with that. So that's what you're doing with the GU. And then I see Samuela wants us to look at EU. So EU, I've been waiting for a setup to validate. Let me just go into the hourly and then just show you what I'm waiting for. Actually, let me just break it all down and cancel it so you can see it from scratch, which basically shows you my chain of thought. So I've been, okay, let's do this to make it quicker. Let me just make it bigger so you can see what I was looking at. So I'm waiting for this level to hold, and then once it does hold, I want this to be broken, and then once it's broken, the very same setup, you want it to come back and then trade along these candles here all the way going down. So I am still waiting for that to happen. It's been in a range. If you do want to trade the range, it's all up to you, but if you do want to trade the range, you trade from a daily perspective, which way you'll get those massive RRs if you are correct, of course. And those ones are quite beautiful. These steps are for the bootcamp chaps, so if you do enroll, you will get that step-by-step guide into how you approach the price, how you approach a pair, and taking it from there. So if you want to trade the range, you'd look at this. Let me just do that. You'd look at price getting back into this level here, getting back into this level. Why is it doing that now? There we go. Getting back into this level, and then you watch what price action does here, and then sell from there. Those are usually the best trades that you find, by the way. If you check most of our trades from a couple of weeks ago, they were taken with the daily zones. They were taken quite well. I mean, we found ourselves hitting 40R, 100R. That was some pretty impressive trades. We haven't had those in a minute, because I mean, you have to wait for those. You really have to wait. It's all about patience. So as I was saying with the EU on the hourly, that's what I'm waiting for. Price to break this zone here at the bottom. Let me just put a price tag on that so you can see that. Break this level, and then once it does break this level, I'll look at an entry somewhere in these candles, and wait for price to basically retrace, pick it up, and drop. So that's how I'm approaching the EU for now. So like I said, we even had some pretty good setups this week. And Okundeko wants us to look at Nzd Swiss Franc. I'm actually going to look at all these pairs today. Let's see. Nzd Swiss Franc. Don't forget to like, guys. Like the video. Okay, with this one, we are also waiting. Price is basically playing around with us, because you can see it basically turned a couple of pips from our entry, which is somewhere 10 pips from our entry. It dropped 40 pips. So that would have been a nice, neat setup. But there's a 33R trade if it does play out, because we are taking it from your daily key zones. So we don't trade against the trend. We never trade against the trend. But remember, now trends it depends on what time frame you're trading. So you find a nice trend on a 5 minute, but you find that it's actually playing around a key zone on the daily, and the daily is much stronger. So you'd want to be careful with that. So this is how we approach the Nzd Swiss Franc. We are waiting for price to basically get back up and trade it from there. And you can see this nice break of structure here. So you might even find a nice push down and a break of this whole area, pushing all the way up. And if you do go back to the lower time frames, 1 hour, which is the one that we used as well, to find these nice setups. So you can save that. And then if you do want to trade within these levels, I'll probably go to a lower time frame, because right now it's still ranging a bit. You can see this nice bullish move, and it also started range as well here. So in ranges. I don't like smaller time frame ranges. I'd rather trade from the higher time frame ranges. So I'll basically wait. And then dropping into the 5 minute, yeah, you don't really see much happening with NZD. So I'd still wait for this bigger move. And yeah, patience. And then we've got US oil. Yeah, I haven't traded that in a minute as well. And I think the beauty with US oil is when you get those trades, man, they move dramatically. They move. It's like your indices, they move crazy. Okay. Okay, I see here we've got a level here that was broken. You can see we've been having this nice push down, and the level here was broken, also ranging. Look at that, just ranging in these levels. But I think the beauty with US oil, like I mentioned earlier, when it moves, and when you trade from key levels, you do find some nice setups from it. These are daily levels, by the way, also very relative. Some people just keep the bodies and then ignore the wicks. I just include everything just so I can get a better position. And with this one, you'd want to use this candle here for a nice bullish move. I'll just give you the bullish and the bearish. And like I said, when you trade from your daily key zones, you end up finding those nice setups, very, very nice setups. And then refining that, you would find your trade along probably this level here. Let's go back into the 15, and we could potentially find a better RR. Doesn't look like it, so you are looking at something along these ranges. It's a bit too big for my liking, but if it does look a bit too big, you can look at taking the 50% fib of it. So you look at an entry along somewhere here. So 9R, not bad. You'll see how that works out. And just watch what it does in these levels. And then if you go back now into your daily, and just mark that quickly. Go back into your daily and see where you could potentially take a sell, because you can see now the current candle is bullish. It'll be a bit tricky because I don't think it'll go up that high. But if it does, just be careful. Use stops. Don't use limit orders. Wait for price to pass your levels and then see what price does as it steps down, and take a sell from that. So with that done, probably use this candle here and refine it, of course, into a nice setup. Okay, let's go back into the 15 and scroll all the way back until you can find a nice should be around these levels. Remember now also you need to watch your commissions, or not commissions, your spreads. Those will determine your success. The bigger the spread, then you need to increase your stop loss range, which means lower RR. But yeah, I will be dropping I'll actually adjust our description here and add our broker. I prefer broker with very nice spreads. So, and because we trade like our trades are very tight, our stop loss are very tight, because we are targeting those massive RR trades. You want to trade lower spreads, lower fees, lower commissions, so you can get a better setup. So with this one, you would wait for something along these ranges. So once price does break up into this level, you don't want to immediately get in. You want to watch what it does in the lower time frames. As you can see, I'm on the hourly, so you'll probably take a look at the 15, the 5, and see what it does. And then if you start seeing a bit of structure breaking down, then you do enter on either the retrace Very same way I just showed you guys with other pages now. With the AUD USD, what I'm waiting for, you'd wait for it in these levels on the lower time frames. And that'll be basically build your confluence, and your trade will probably work out. And if it doesn't, it would keep you out of the trade. So that's the beauty of this. And yeah, of course, wait for it to do that. Very same thing. Wait to see what it does in these levels on the lower time frames, and then get in once you start seeing bullish momentum, bullish moves. And yeah, that's about it on those levels. Awesome. Samuela, how can I enroll in the bootcamp? Check our website, uniforexdojo.com. You'll see there the bootcamp is there. Yeah, I see some students are getting your 20 hours and so forth. Did you use volume profile as key levels? No, I use volume profile only when I find my entry levels. So once I get my entries based on our bootcamp rules and so forth, there's a specific point we look for, and then we use a volume profile to basically support the decision we take on the entry. So yeah, volume profile is also a very, very, very instrumental key. And odd enough, I've never really looked into it, or actually I've never focused on it until recently, where one of our students from the bootcamp took our strategy and is doing some crazy numbers. I mean, he did, I think he had a 40% win rate on one of his FTMO trials and still passed it with the 40% win rate using volume profile, our strategies, of course, and it's just brilliant. Because remember, we don't chase perfection, we just chase consistency. We don't need to win all the trades, we just need to win the good ones. That's it. Yeah, that's about it, guys. Euro Stocks 50. Okay, let's take a look at that. I've never really looked at it. Yesterday I looked at what's this? German 30. Okay, let's take at the daily. Always start at the daily. You need to know where you are in the market at all times. You need to know what's happening, because you might find that you are trading a 1 hour, but it's at one of the major key levels. So yeah, okay, this is quite nice actually. You'd probably look at an entry. Let's see, it broke above there, it came back down. An entry now actually. If you're to look at this candle here, I'm not showing you some of the stuff because it's stuff that we do on the thingy, but I basically just focus on this whole area now in my head, and I looked at this setup here as well, which basically kind of gave me an idea of how we'll be looking at going long. And if you actually, let's go back down to the hourly. Okay, wait, let's finish the daily first. So once you've got the setup on the daily, you use that candle, of course, and then you basically refine it to the lowest or the tightest one. So you'd look at something along these ranges. So you'd have probably gotten in there. And then if you were to, okay, let me just mark this. So you actually take a look at that. Why did they swap now? Okay, there we go. There we go. So you look at something along these ranges on the daily, of course, and you will be targeting this level, of course. But if you're using the whooshu exit, you're targeting quite high. You're targeting the maximum this trade could do without retracing too much. And yeah, this is based on the daily, by the way, but you can see we would have missed it. So I think if we looked at this probably on Tuesday, yeah, Tuesday last week, because when this candle basically triggered. Okay, so you basically just wait for it to retrace a bit and then go long. And then if you were to look at the hourly, I think I can remove this now. If we were to look at the hourly, also bullish, this level will hold, it should hold, and you can see this push up a bit. So now you're simply just waiting for this one here. Once price breaks this level, you would look at entering at let me just drop down to the 15 and then drop down to the 15 there, drop down again to the 5. You probably look at entering. So you'd look at, I think somebody asked about the volume profile. So this is where the volume profile will basically come in. And then you'll see just how we look at it. So it basically gives an idea of where to basically focus, and look something like that. So we look at this level here and that level there as a potential entry on the 0.50 trade. And remember, you want price to first break this level. Once it does break that level, it's going to retrace. You either take this one here or this one here at the bottom. And before you do take these trades again, you drop down to the lower time frames and watch what structure does here before pushing up. Same here. So once it breaks this level, it will invalidate this whole setup. You'll wait for this one. So that's how I would approach the Euro Stocks 50. So it will look like that. Now, I need to remove some of these favorite tools. So you'd have this. You could also go half of this and go for a nice RR trade, because 5R is really not that great. I mean, you could get kicked out at 1R. So you want to at least get kicked out at 3R, and then you know that you don't really have to win more than 50% of all your trades. There we go. So your setup will look something like that. There we go. And that's how you take a look at the Euro 50. Don't forget to like, guys. Let's like the video. Let's grow. There we go. Devin X 2012. Awesome, guys. Check out our bootcamp. Check our website, uniforexdojo.com, and our free channel on Telegram. You can also just follow that, share, and we can grow from here. And don't forget, guys, it's a Friday, so watch the markets. Check you guys on Tuesday. Monday we're not doing a live, so Tuesday we will be catching up pre-London and moving forward. We are still waiting to find the correct approach to start doing our New York sessions. So yeah, we'll keep going from there. Happy trading, guys.